I did go to the subreddit for horror movies, and I'm thinking Eric and Mike have probably had a problem like this.
Okay,
ever
we're switching gears to erectile dysfunction. What's going on here?
They don't deserve that. They don't deserve to be treated that way on this show. So we're gonna take a look at if it on the subreddit. A lot of conversation has to do with like my girlfriend or partner doesn't like horror. How should I deal with that on the Reddit horror thing? And you know, we all know the obvious answer.
Break up with them.
Yeah.
Watch it without them.
Yeah, that could work.
Hey, goes Atlas Fox says, ever dealt with any anti-horror types? So while talking horror with a coworker today, and another coworker piped in about it, seems like she is not a fan. After thinking about the interaction, I was wondering if anybody ran into any opposition to your enjoyment of horror. For me, I haven't had much opposition. It's always been a you like or don't like kind of situation, and no one has tried or spoken out to me against horror as a whole. Has anybody done this to you? So Outpost 7786 says, I had a girlfriend who made it very clear it was either her or being able to watch horror movies and potentially write my own horror.
Okay, well, maybe she wanted you to like take life a bit more seriously, and also, or maybe like get a real job and like help support the household.
You got to make some money, Outpost.
Yeah, Outpost. We got bills to pay. You're sitting in your room, fucking smoking, writing your great script,
writing a book about like fucking vampires, sexy vampires, by the way. I couldn't justify it, not because I couldn't do it. Sure, if I was really truly in love with someone, I could easily give up the horror genre. But I don't.
I can quit any time, man.
It's like they asked him to like quit doing like weed or something like that. Yeah. He's like, look, I'll quit watching horror movies if somebody hot, you know, shows up.
Totally.
But I don't think I could truly fall in love with someone who would put such a restriction on me. So
that's fair. That's fair. If like it's the truth of what he's saying, you know, the idea of like someone saying you can't watch horror movies, and it's the thing you love, that's probably not a good match. So I would agree with him there.
Xenochimp replied to this and said, my best friend met a girl in college. He collected Simpsons figures and played video games. She demanded he give it all up, and he did. They got married. She cheated on him a bunch of times, then divorced him. If they're going to make you give up what you love, they're not worth it. And then
think all that time he could have spent collecting figures.
Throwing in the part, she cheated on him a bunch of times.
And then he puts in parentheses at the end, that's why I married someone who accepts all my Godzilla figures and Transformers. And
that is good. Again, you do want to find somebody who accepts you for who you are, for like, you know, doesn't make you change up major parts of your life.
Well, the Hill sees you had to reply to this too. And he said, well, okay, I'm going to say this and you guys are going to laugh, and then everybody's going to feel bad for a second. Well, as someone that is single and desperate to find love, if I met the girl of my dreams right now and she asked me to give up the horror genre, I'd tell her to F off. So
yeah,
super desperate.
And also like just sort of his, you know, like F off, like fuck off. Like it just seems like maybe he's got a little bit of women hating in him already, you know?
You can't ask me to give up everything I own, movies, books, games. Like, come on. Horror is who I am. My whole identity. If you don't like it, it's fine, but don't tell me not to like it either. That's where the problem comes in.
You gotta have other stuff. No, I don't want to tell him how to live his life, but having your whole identity be like an entertainment thing, an escape type thing, does seem a bit weird.
Well, how does that work? Like, does he have like, how does your whole identity based around? I don't get that. As like a big horror fan, how is your whole identity based around a movie genre or a book genre? Like, how does that work? Like, I don't.
Yeah, how does it manifest itself in your daily life? Like,
he tries to scare people all the time. Like, he like creeps up behind people and says boo and shit. Like, I don't like. How does that work?
Eric, one thing, the central thesis of this show is that like it's fine if you're several types of guys, it's bad if you're one type of guy. So like if you're like, oh, like Chris
Brian's
is
a sex guy.
He loves hot
Well, Brian is a sex guy, not me. Brian
Not-
is, just to be clear.
I am not any of I'm a few of the guys. I'm a bourbon guy now. Not a sex guy though. That's like kind of the opposite of me.
But yeah, I know what you're saying, and you're right about that. If you're so hyper focused on something, listen, not to say I know people have that. It's not necessarily wrong, but it can become dangerous. Where if it is your entire identity, this just one small little aspect, it can be a little bit strange.
I mean, guy that is Halloween all year, like somebody that would go to and I looked at some of these reviews, somebody that would go to a haunted house, because there's a haunted house in Columbus that's 365 days a year. It's not just Halloween, it's like every day.
Called Brian's house.
It's not, my house is not haunted, Mike. Don't say that kind of thing.
Don't say that crap, dude.
Watch out, man. Now I feel I'm in danger now. Now you got me thinking. But it was 365 days, and it was like, who goes to a fucking haunted house in December? And then I started looking at it, I was like, what do they do? And in December they do Krampus.
I went to that in December. I actually went to that haunted house in December. So, to answer your question, see, you're touching on like I'm a few of the guys you've talked about on this show now. Hot sauce, horror, guys who jack off to monsters. Like you're really like. You're getting me right now. Nailed.
He's a sex guy too, everybody.
How many Scovilles can you take? How many Scovilles can you handle?
Scoville number.
What's your Scoville number? If
7 million. 7 million.
Oh, come on.
We read it 9 million.
9 million, but it was an extract, not a sauce.
Yeah. That's a fair point. It is. It was an extract, but we did read a 9 million one. And they said not only can you use it to keep squirrels off your fence, it also tastes good.
It's multifunction. Yeah.
The best thing about hot sauce reviews is, it's probably too hot for you, but I mean, I can handle it.
Yeah. It's a 2 for me. It'd be like a 10 for you. Yeah, I've seen that shit.
Wonderful Orchid said, this is my current girlfriend. If I even so much as put a horror movie or show on, she'll leave the house and return when I'm done. She absolutely cannot stand anything in the genre. It's a bit disheartening.
Wait, did he post a photo of her?
No.
Oh, I said like, this is my current girlfriend.
No, she doesn't want him watching horror.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't like, okay, I dated a girl for almost 4 years. In my 20s, who doesn't like
bragging.
I'm sorry, who didn't like horror, and like how you get around that by being fucking normal. Like you said, like I just wouldn't watch them with her unless she, I'll sit and watch this with you. Sometimes she would do that. It's very easy. I don't understand why they're making it seem like there's some sort of like logistics issue with like dating somebody who doesn't like everything that you like. It's really
you
fucking
can
weird.
do separate things. Yeah, my current girlfriend, who I live with, is not a horror fan.
Oh, bragging!
I know he's really going for it today.
Jeez,
Who I live with, but
yeah.
It just for the purpose of the story, it makes sense to discuss that we live together. That's all. But I'm just saying, yeah, like I'll, if I want to watch a horror movie, she just does something else, or it's never become a big issue for us.
Yeah, I mean, there is this time when you're like, I would say like 16 to 25. Where it's like you're like, I remember like just the thing I would brag about my girlfriend to people is like, she likes Limp Bizkit, she likes
dude, we're perfect. We're we're like the same person. It's awesome.
We decided that our wedding song is going to be "Bow to the Bow."
Oh God, I told this story at a POD cast, but there's an orgy song called "Revival." And it has Jonathan Davis singing it, and I fucking would try to convince my wife all the time, this can be our song.
What do you mean an orgy song? What is an orgy song?
By the band Orgy.
Oh, okay.
It's a new metal band.
And I was hard to tell because you're such a sex guy.
I'm not a sex guy.
You know about all this music that I don't even never heard of.
But I would sit down, and she didn't even like it, and I would just be like, this is our song. This is like our song. Like, whatever. Okay, fine. It's our song. But that's when you're so young. It's like you can't like go see movies without. But I mean, just tell her to leave. At least his girlfriend leaves for a while. I don't know why it's disheartening if she's leaving and coming back when you're done. You know.